Welcome. As you continue along the path to becoming a Python programmer, your coding documents will get longer. Fortunately, there are ways to simplify code. Could you imagine having to rewrite the same block of code over and over and over again? In the wizardlib.py file, lines 54 to 67 are all responsible for making text appear on the screen. What if you had to rewrite all that code every time you wanted to write a sentence? It would get out of hand very fast. You would quickly find that you have hundreds or even thousands of lines of code. This would not only make the code a lot less readable, but it would also make the debugging process very challenging. In this chapter, you will learn more about functions, which helps solve this problem. Functions are great because they allow you to group code together, to be reused at your command. All that code that makes text appear on the screen can be condensed so that whenever we want it, we can simply command Python to add text. This practice is referred to as calling functions, and is an integral part of programming. Calling functions significantly reduces repetition because the code only has to be written once. After it is written, we can easily reuse the condensed version of the group of code. Not only does this reduce repetition, but it allows us to focus on building more complex programs because we can build functions that are more intricate, without having to rewrite the basics. Calling functions is an important concept that will be brought up again and again in this chapter. One crucial reason we need to call functions is that they do not run unless they are called. Imagine building a car and there is a box filled with useful tools. These tools make the job a lot easier, but they will not do anything on their own. It is important to know when and how to use which tools. Similarly, we could have 100 lines of code grouped together in a function, making it a useful tool. But, unless it's called, nothing will happen. Fortunately, calling functions is as easy as just stating the name of the function you want to use and adding a pair of parentheses. Sometimes there is also additional information that must be included, called parameters. Recall your use of writing the word print in prior chapters. You may not have realized it, but that was actually a function call. When calling the print function, it is necessary to write a string into the parentheses. Think about it, how would the computer know what text to add to the screen? On its own, it wouldn't. We have to provide the print function, the text we want displayed. These parameters will change depending on the function you are calling. Another way that we could add text is to call the addText function. But in this case, we need two parameters. One is a string for the output, and the other is an integer for the size. So you see, this function takes different information, including data type and number of parameters. When calling other functions, you may have to provide a color, a size, a boolean, or many other options. Don't worry, Code Wizards HQ will tell you what parameters are needed when calling functions. There are functions for just about anything. If a function doesn't already exist, the creation of a function is easy, and in a future chapter, you'll even make them yourself. In this chapter, you'll experience many new pre-made functions that can perform all sorts of tasks, and they will be there whenever you want them. Along the way, you will learn how to update existing text, make buttons, and how to interact with them using the mouse click. You'll even practice how to make Python perform all kinds of advanced mathematical calculations. At the end, you'll make a calculator using what you have learned. Excited to dive in? Remember to take the pre-work quiz before continuing to the first lesson.